Hey guys, welcome to Camping with Steve. I'm in an industrial area here, and I've camped here before last year, just for a quick overnighter in the hammock. This time's different because I normally do just a one-nighter. This time I'm going to double my pleasure with 2 nights. I'm going to sneak into the woods over there, right behind me, and given the cold warning and the 2 days, there's a lot of gear. So I have to get this into the woods behind me without raising too much suspicion, because we are setting up. Now the sun is pretty much setting, which coincides with home time for most people in these warehouses. So I'm gonna wander over and just get this shelter in there along with my backpack. Ooh, not a lot of cover. I'll have to be creative here. First trip in here is just the real basics, and then when it's a little darker, I'll bring in the more incriminating stuff, like the propane cylinder and the heater. But looks like there's good potential here, particularly when we start to get a little further from the road there. I just need enough room to set up this shelter, and it doesn't take too much room, so right in there looks good actually. This is a nice little clear area I can set up. We'll just get all this stuff off right now, and we'll come back with a few more things. The first batch of gear is in the woods, and the most unexplainable piece of gear to sneak in there is this 20-pound propane cylinder. So with the coast looking clear, I'm just going to kind of walk this over to the edge of the woods there and just set right down. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. This big heater is all I really need here, and then we can get things set up while there's still some daylight. So let's do that. Going to be using this hunting blind again. I did just use it in the last stealth, but this is the only shelter I can realistically stealth camp in, with temperatures going down to minus 30 Celsius or minus 22 Fahrenheit tonight. So can't wait to get this set up with the heater running. That didn't go as smoothly as I hoped. I'll be living in this cube for a couple of days, trying to not be seen, and hopefully staying warm. Now, I do have another few things to get from the car, which we'll do in just a little bit here, but we'll get the heat going and a chair set up, and we'll see how cozy we can make this thing. The last heater I brought with me was about a quarter of the potential BTUs this one puts out, because I was freezing cold last time, and it's even colder tonight, so I don't want to take any chances. This, on a 20-pound cylinder that I got outside, this should last on medium for 48 hours, and tomorrow it is supposed to warm up a bit, so we're going to have a little bit of a break, but tonight is the real test. On maximum power, this thing is 18,000 BTUs. And I've used that in a huge ice fishing shack, so this should definitely keep me warm. And I'll also be cooking on it to cut down on the amount of gear I gotta bring around. It's warm already, perfect. So when I'm sitting around all day, I got this folding tripod death chair from the dollar store. It was $4 for some reason, but it's wobbly. When you sink it into the snow though, it actually stays put pretty good. And it really does sink in. Basically I'm just sitting on the ground. But that's okay, it's not right on the snow, so I'm happy. There's one more bag to grab out of the car, and we can use this opportunity to see how badly this sticks out from the roadside. Right on. Yeah, like probably 25 feet away, I can't see a thing. This is awesome. Can't see a thing. It feels really exposed when I'm in there because I can see all the lights of these warehouses and offices and stuff, but I guess they can't see in too well. So one very important thing to get from the car, and then let the hunkering down begin. Let's see. Okay. All locked up tight, and we're in the woods for the night. Yeah, there's nobody seeing anything in there, at least not at night. Heat went out. That's not good. Alright. Heater is back on, but it's a little temperamental. If it tilts forward, it really takes off. It gets overfired to the burners, and the pilot light starts sounding like a compressed air hose. Let's see if it does that. Yeah, so you can see that's not even remotely safe. Okay, settle down. Alright, so we're going to keep this as level as possible, and yeah, well, in the meantime, we'll do a little tour of the Shangri-La. Now, of course, it's not tall enough to stand up in, but that's okay. A smaller space to heat. I've got my little stool down there, which will be home for a few days. Lookouts here to see what's happening outside. This is some supplies and food. Another backpack that has some camera gear. The other backpack with the sleeping bag in it, and the heater. And that's all there is here. I'm gonna set up the sleeping bag. Oh boy. Okay, that wasn't good. Okay, I'll bring a full-size chair next time I try this. But yeah, the sleeping bag will have to be set up kind of diagonally, just on the ground, with tent footprint underneath of it. And hopefully it's not going to be too brutal of a couple of days here. Okay, that other heater's not working at all. It's surging, it's dying, I'm not sure what's going on. I've ran that with the filter on since day one, but I had to pick up another heater to get me through tonight. And I guess I've put hundreds of hours on that other one, so it's had a good life, but can't chance it tonight at minus 30. Okay, new buddy heater right there. Lock this up. We'll get back in the woods to do what we do best. Stealth camp. Smooth sailing. that was a close call. This is working, and I'm very pleased. It's actually extremely warm in here, which is just what I was hoping for. And that calls for a delicious Frosty step 2. And Frosty is right, there's probably ice in this thing. Yeah, a little bit of ice particles, but it hasn't frozen solid, so that's great. I'm gonna get dinner started here. I prepped this at home, and I'll show you what I've got here. I got some hash brown potatoes, shredded hash browns, pre-cooked meatballs, onions, there's some butter in there, and I'm going to dump in some Campbell's condensed cream mushroom soup to kind of make a little casserole thing here. I'm going to try and cook it right on this this beautiful little buddy heater, and we're going to have a new tool to do that. Oh great, the lid fell off. I will say props to Campbell's. I don't know if it's been pop tops in the United States for a while, but here this is a new development. No can openers required. So there we go. Bunch of this stuff in there. Wow, that looks gross. But it'll work, I think. This old grill from the last Mr. Buddy heater is going to good use, and I'll probably pull that heater apart to see what exactly is going on. But I turned in these little tabs on the end, and it allows it to fit right in like that. So yeah, look at that. It's only borderline dangerous. So excellent, and we'll stir this up a little bit with these. Get her spread out. I'm really worried about burning the hash browns on the bottom before the butter and all that melts. So we'll turn down the volume on the Mr. Buddy here to medium low. There we go. And keep a little eye on that before I throw the lid on it and ignore it for a while, but I hope it's going to be good. Still nice and warm in here. Have to give a thanks out to Scott and Caitlin for this Swiss Army utensil thing, and we're gonna just enjoy the pork. Ooh, that's hot. You know what? I'll bring over the stool and yum. Okay, this thing has been on there for a bit. Oh wow. It looks actually pretty bland, but it smells fantastic. Yum. So, just gonna chow down on this little thing that we've created somehow, and okay, well, that's a pleasant surprise. Wow. I'd say whatever you do, make this. This is this is a great camping meal. Condensed cream of mushroom soup is one of those food band-aids, like bacon or cheese. Makes anything good. But shredded hash browns, pre-cooked meatballs. I really don't want to actually cook any raw meat on this thing because I get concerned about the temperatures it can get to. Anyways, wow. Before I set up the bunk, I've got the thermometer here to see what's actually happening outside. The time and date are not correct, but we can see that it's quite comfortable inside. That's the inside temperature. It looks like 16 Celsius, and outside is a slow guide down here, and it's -26.5. And I have the magic ability to switch between Celsius and Fahrenheit. So that is what things look like in Celsius and Fahrenheit in here. That is the outside temperature right there, and the inside temperature right there. So about time to hit the hay, my friends. Oh no. This will do just fine. Definitely time for bed. Certainly warmer than the last time I was doing this thing. And that's great. The jacket slash pillow tucked back there. We got bear spray in there. Case of bears, but there is a coyote problem around here, so we don't want to take any chances. Put my phone in my pocket because in the cold temperatures, although it feels nice and warm in here, there's stratified layers of colder air, and the lithium batteries don't like it. So, I'll also take a bottle of water and put it in my sleeping bag so it's not frozen in the morning. You can actually see the ice. Yeah, like this thing is already frozen from sitting down by the ground. So I'll throw that in here so it so it is a liquid in the morning. And turn off that light up there, and we'll see you guys in the morning. Okay, just a little night light. Perfect. Good morning. That was awesome. This heater is so powerful that even without a sleeping pad and right on the snow, one side would get too warm and have to roll over, the other side would get too warm, and my toes stayed nice and warm. So the hard part's over because tonight is going to be warmer than last night was. So I'm laughing. This is going to be easy. Aside from trying to sit on this thing all day, I'm going to have to replace this because these little tiny legs sink right through into the snow, and no back support. It gets a little old after a few hours. Yesterday, before I had the sleeping bag set up, I was sitting on the sleeping bag when it was still in the container. And that's not an option today. So down the road, there's a handful of stores, and I can get my fresh baked bread. I can hopefully find something different. I'm thinking like a little kid's folding camp chair, because that would fit in here nicely, as long as I fit in the folding chair for a kid. But it's got longer legs and should do the job. I gotta get my fresh baked buns for dinner tonight. And I gotta find a restroom, because I don't want to destroy the woods here. It's a beautiful city park. And I didn't bring any bags to pick up after myself. So let's pick up here and hit the road. Definitely feels a lot more obvious in the daytime. There was a truck backing and I think he made eye contact with me. Well, that's the way it seems anyhow. I'm probably being a little paranoid, as usual. But yeah, I just don't want that knock at the tent door in the middle of the night. So as I move a little farther away, yeah, it's a little obvious, but we'll see what it looks like from the road in the daytime. You can see it if you look. I think most people will just be walking their dog down this little dog walking path and not too concerned about what's in the woods. The only one that's going to know I'm there is the dog they're walking, because they can smell that dinner from last night. Yum. Okay, got everything we need. I found a little kids camping chair. Unfortunately, it's decorated with Paw Patrol, but that's all they had. And when I got into the back of the car, I discovered this. That's how cold it was. Yikes. Yeah. Not what you want to see in a rental car. But it was just club soda. Thankfully, nothing sticky like pop. But it's cold. Time to get back to the woods. Move the bed out of the way, and we'll see if this thing will support my weight. Certainly colorful. Okay. That's better than that little tripod. Probably stronger too. And well, how about that? A little snug, but got some back support. Awesome. Oh, the joys of stealth camping. It's been a little boring today. Just kind of sitting here, trying to not be seen. Still a bunch of people working across the road there. And I kind of keep an eye on them. Nobody's been really parking along the road there, so that's all right. And heater's going. I think it's a little warmer out today for sure. I have to pull out that thermometer and see what it's reading. But I'm nice and cozy. Made some phone calls and just kind of sitting around waiting for things to get a little darker and people to go home. So you know what to do in the meantime, right? Yeah. There we go. Hiding in the woods, drinking a beer. Reminds me of being a teenager. Different times back then. Drive-thrus had one lane. TVs were square. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was asking people whether or not they could smell what he was cooking. Simpler times. Seems like everyone's gone home from those construction sites over there, and it is really warming up. I only have this on half power, and I could take the jacket off right now, but first things first, food. I'm gonna cook up some Johnsonville smoked brats. So I think I know how to do that on this, right on the top there. That'll be just fine. Alright. Got myself fresh baked buns, which is the #1 priority for this type of a thing. This one looks about the plumpest. Okay. So, put on my Dijon mustard because I've grown fond of this lately. When I was a kid, Dijon mustard tasted almost poisonous, and now I just can't get enough of it. Like horseradish. Oh yes. Yum. Oh. Oh, that's a problem. As long as that holds up, I'm, yeah, looks, oh, boy, wow. Come on. Really? Hold on. Just gonna try and fix this light here, and maybe it'll want to work. Oh, this is how it ends. Great. Come on. I put fresh batteries in you. I grabbed a couple of other flashlights that are running out of battery. I'm not sure what's wrong with this one. I just put new batteries in it, and this is the one I used in the cave, and it ran all night, no problem. So very curious to what's going on there. But okay, load this up with an inappropriate amount of Dijon. It's just so good. And of course, it's been a few weeks since I've actually had a full video where I can do the beer donations, and this is happening right now. Thank you to all of the folks that have donated to the beer donations. And it's probably a long list because it's been a few weeks. There are going to be Valentine's wishes in there, birthday wishes that are probably late, unfortunately, but you know, I do what I can, and I hate putting the shout outs like this on a video that's me doing a house update, so they always end up on like a full camping video. And with that said, I am kicking around the idea of getting rid of the beer donations. I'm thinking either a Patreon aspect or just getting rid of it altogether. The beer donations started organically at the beginning of the channel. Somebody had wanted to donate a beer, and I said absolutely, and I thanked them, and then more people donated, and I thanked them, and you know, I pretty well just thank people for the beer donations, but I don't want to come across as panhandling for donations. So I'm probably going to switch to a Patreon where people can get extra benefits or behind the scenes stuff, instead of just, you know, like a little name scrolling up. And I know it's tricky with the channel. A lot of people do those sponsorships where Welcome to Camping with Steve, and today we're sponsored by Campbell's Chunky Soup, but we don't do that. We're just kind of sponsored like BBS by viewers like you, and it's, I don't know. Okay, definitely time to get to bed because we're running out of our visible light here. With the flashlights. This other one, I used it in the cave and it worked like all night and did great. It's an Energizer brand and does not want to seem to do anything even with fresh batteries. So, something to remember. This little chair though did fantastic. It's only rated for 80 pounds. And I'm a little more than 80 pounds. So I think that rating is based on 80 pound dynamic load and not an 80 pound static load. So that's great. It did a very excellent job. Thank you all for watching. If you, for some reason, like these things, please consider subscribing. I know this is not my ideal video because it gets a little boring after a couple of days sitting in a little 5x5 cube. However, oh boy, this will be an interesting sleep tonight. It's the ground is, a compound angle, is what you'd call it, I guess. Well, good morning. That was downright pleasurable. The ground was a little hard because I didn't bring my sleeping pad through negligence. But, I made it. That was not a problem. This little chair actually survived. My weight load did not destroy it. So that's good. I'll save this for the future if I have to camp in here. Or if I have a child. I'll just hand this down. So, I'm going to pack up here. It's around 9:30 in the morning. I had an actually good little bit to sleep in here this morning. It was fantastic. There's a little snow falling right now, so that'll cover my tracks, so to speak, and literally, which is awesome. Yeah, it was an all-around success. I would say this little thing in a proper situation like this, proper location, does just a fantastic job. And it's cramped quarters, but it's doable, right? I've slept in worse. It beats no shelter at all. I didn't need the heater on full blast last night, but I did turn it on full blast about the middle of the night to try and burn off this propane so that it's less to carry out of the woods. And I'm still running it here. I don't know what's left in the cylinder up there, but judging by the frost on it, we still could have a third of a propane cylinder left in there. So that's fairly impressive for doing 2 days of running this thing pretty well all the time. Well, I'm going to start taking loads out to the car. And the first things first, I'm going to bring that old broken buddy heater and the backpack, and we'll just make 3 or 4 trips and should have it all in there. if I didn't have to get that extra heater, I could have done this in 2 trips and we'd be out of here, but no, gotta do 2 more. Oh well. Well, if this thing packs up nice and easy, it fits right back in that bag, I'll be so happy. Well, I won't complain about that. Oh yeah. Woohoo! Look how much that buddy here melted through the snow. Right down to the ground, basically, through like 8 inches of snow. And I was sleeping along here, and it was really starting to roll towards the heater. So good thing we're getting out of here when we did. If I'd let this go for a couple more days, this buddy heater would have probably melted the whole base of this thing. And we'd be walking around in the grass. So that's kind of when it gets a little trickier, and then it can freeze into the snow when things start to melt around it. And yeah, it was a nightmare to get that other ice fishing tent out of my backyard. Years ago, before I was actually filming regular videos. We had it set up in the backyard all winter, having, you know, fires in it and whatnot. And we go to pull it up, and it was in there. I think part of it ripped trying to get it off the ground. So that's why I'm always leery of ground sheets or putting down a floor underneath, because in the winter it has the potential to freeze into the ground after some melting. But blah 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 blah. I can go on all day long. And I won't. We'll get out of here. Just one final little look around to make sure we're not forgetting anything. And I didn't see any junk out here from other people that have been left behind for us to bring out. So we're in good shape here, but I always give it one last good thorough look just to make sure I'm being a good steward of the river valley and the parks in Edmonton. One of my pet peeves lately has been my hat getting caught on branches like that and getting pulled off. It's happened more times than I'd like it to happen. You could now say that we're safely out of the woods. Perfect. And not too much snow on the car either. It was just a late dusting, enough to cover up most of my footprints, especially if it continues on throughout the day. All packed up, and I need a tea desperately. That's exactly what this morning calls for. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope this gave you a break from watching the news for half an hour or so, and I guess I'll let you get back to watching the news. Thanks for following along, and we'll see you next week.